Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Multiverse Matchups. We have a very popular matchup today. It's one I've heard or talked about plenty of times, very big topic of discussion. We have Naruto Uzumaki versus Aang. This is going to be our anime slash honorary anime type of matchup with Naruto Uzumaki. Aang, kind of very similar, somewhat similar power in terms of like the ninjutsu versus the bending is very similar. If you know the Naruto with the different chakra forms with earth style, water style, wind style, etc. And you have the obviously the bending between fire, earth, water, and wind. So let's get straight into it. We're gonna start off with Naruto Uzumaki, and we're also gonna talk about pretty much three different setups for the battle because there's different levels when you're talking about some of these matchups, especially with Aang, because there's the base form Aang and then there's the avatar state Aang. But we'll get to that. Naruto Uzumaki. This is Naruto Shippuden Naruto. So this is, I guess, Great Ninja War Naruto is what we're talking about. This is not Hokage Naruto, which is obviously stronger in the Boruto saga. But this is definitely him older, more mature, later in the show where he is in his quote-unquote prime. So height, 5'9", weight 165 pounds. Power type, Chakra Jinchuriki, Sage of Six Paths. We're not going to do the Sage of Six Paths because there's no way on God's green earth that Aang in any state is keeping up with the Sage of Six Path Naruto. But that's just some of his abilities. Strength, 95. For the grading, strength, 95. Speed, 90. Agility, 85. Durability, 95. Stamina is 100. Obviously, with Kuruma's chakra, he can fight for a very long time, pretty much endlessly. It's almost unlimited chakra. Healing factor 90, longevity 85, combat 95. Again, this is Great Ninja War Naruto, so combat is significantly better than Kid Naruto. Character development is fantastic. He becomes a phenomenal hand-to-hand combatant later in the show. So combat is 95, intelligence 80. Overall grade is going to be 91. Unique / notable powers and abilities. Obviously, we know if you watch Naruto, he abuses the Shadow Clone Jutsu. It's a forbidden jutsu, and he just uses it endlessly as if it's not even forbidden. Nobody really says anything, but that's whatever. He's able to create hundreds, even thousands of shadow clones, which unlike after images or unlike some of the clones in different shows or fantasy where they don't physically damage. These are physical hard copy clones that Naruto can command and I guess disband them at free will, and he can, with Kuruma's chakra, create thousands of them almost endlessly. Rasengan variants, you got the Rasengan, the Rasen Shuriken, you have the Rasen Shuriken Tail Beast Bomb, but the Rasengan is a very, very potent, powerful wind technique type of attack. Obviously, Sage Mode, we won't talk about the Six Path Sage Mode, but we are going to talk about Sage Mode as well as 9 Demon Tail Fox Mode, which is another one he has. And the Tail Beast Bombs. He has Truth-Seeking Orbs. Again, we won't get into that because that's just too power boosted, but he has the Tail Beast Bombs at his disposal. Again, some really strong feats. Defeats Kaguya alongside Sasuke, which Kaguya is like a godlike being who created chakra and can rewrite dimensions. So she's like this very universal, multiversal type of character who's considered like the god of chakra. She created what we know now as chakra, which is the source of his power. He's fought the Sage of Six Paths Madara and with the Ten Tails Jinchuriki. So Madara Uchiha gets the Ten Tails, which is super OP power, chakra reserves, and puts it inside of his body, and he becomes the Sage of Six Paths, or the Jinchuriki for the Ten Tails, and Naruto is able to go toe-to-toe with Madara. He's empowered the Allied Shinobi Force by creating thousands of clones and covering these people in this cloak that kind of heals them and protects them for damage while he is also fighting at the same time, which kind of shows his range of chakra reserve and his usage of his chakra different abilities. And in Boruto, he fights Momoshiki. I think I'm saying that right, but Again, I'm not tapping into the Boruto, but that's just a street feat, which Momoshiki is stronger than Kaguya. So in Boruto, he ends up fighting him, and you're talking about pretty much just using just straight up power to overpower. But again, we're not gonna get into Boruto, but that is a feat I do want to mention. So his tier placement, we're gonna place Naruto at a planetary level, especially in the nine-tailed demon fox form. He is definitely placed at a planetary level, especially the six path sage mode. Definitely put in that planetary level. But even in the nine-tailed demon fox form with the tail beast bombs, he can level mountains. He could easily shoot a tail beast bomb clear across the other side of the country, leaving like a giant crater. We're talking absolutely devastation. But that is going to be Naruto. So moving on to our good friend Aang. Aang from Avatar: The Last Airbender. He's standing at 5'6", 120 pounds. Power type bending / avatar state. Spiritual power. Grading scale out of 100. Strength 45. Speed 90. Agility, flexibility 90. Durability 60. Stamina 85. Healing factor 40. Longevity 75. Combat 85. Intelligence 80. Overall character grade is 70. Unique / notable powers and abilities. Mastery of all 4 elements, obviously because of the avatar. But even in his base form, he's able to use all 4 elements, which is actually very important. Avatar state massively amplifies his abilities on large scales, can create tsunamis, can create hurricanes, tornadoes on a very, very, very large scale. Energy bending, so can remove or restore bending abilities, which is great for fighting under other benders. For those of y'all that have seen the show, if you haven't, spoiler alert, but it's too late for you now, or you should have been watching it. He takes the Fire Lord's bending, because basically the show, they were saying, you're going to have to kill him. Like, he's too powerful. You can't go easy on him. You're going to have to kill him. He's like, there's going to be another way. There's got to be another way. And he realizes he can take people's bending from him. So he ends up taking the bending from the Fire Lord in the final battle. Spiritual connection. He can connect with spirits, other worlds. He also can use the experience, expertise, and wisdom of past avatars, and enhance perception and combat adaptability. So that's going to be our boy Aang. Some tiers. Again, defeated the Fire Lord during the Sozin's Comet, which means he defeated the Fire Lord when his powers are at their absolute strongest, because during the Comet, that's when the Fire Nation or Fire Benders are at their absolute max in terms of power, and Avatar was able to beat him at his absolute best. Generated continental scale air blasts and earthquakes in the Avatar state. Again, he's creating earthquakes on a continental scale. Very, very, very powerful. Stopped the volcanic eruption and diverted massive environment destruction in the Avatar state. Created city-sized tornadoes, multi-element constructs, devastating entire battlefields, again, in the Avatar state. And fought hundreds of Fire Nation soldiers, war machines simultaneously, wiping out massive forces with combined bending. And again, in the Avatar state, he's able to pretty much take on armies at a time. Tier placement, he's going to be placed in the upper continental level. I think base form's tough, because I don't think he's country level base form. Avatar level, I think he's city level base form. In the Avatar state, I think he jumps to upper continental. So it's a big jump between his base form and Avatar state. But in Avatar state, he's for sure continental level. So breaking down this matchup. First, we're just going base form, but base form Naruto, base form Aang. So in base form Naruto, we have, when it comes to, how do I want to break this down? So when it comes to strength, stamina, durability, and things like that, I'm going to give it to Naruto. He has supersonic speed. Durability is enhanced. Can take on explosions. different things. The shadow clones and Rasengan is going to be very key for him. But I think Aang is a little more agile and evasive. So I think a lot of those moves, Aang is going to be able to evade those moves and even counter some of the stuff because he's able to do all 4 moves. He might be able to use a water bending to counter a Rasengan, or use Earth Style to cover some of his blind spots when it comes to the clones. Because Naruto's his X factor is these clones. If he's able to make 10 clones, it's 11v1, which is going to put Aang at a huge disadvantage, especially in base form. But Aang, being able to simultaneously do all 4 levels of bending, he can use the ground or the environment to his advantage to isolate certain clones or to isolate the real Naruto, as well as he's able to counter on large scale because he can use fire for broader scale attacks. He can use air for defending and evasion. He can do earth for defense or even isolations, and it obviously attacking from the ground. He can attack from the air, and if water's available, again, depends on what environment they're in. If there's somewhere where all 4 are available to him, then Aang, I think, can hold well, even though he'll be outnumbered most of the time with the clones, because we all know Naruto just abuses the shadow clone jutsu. But what I think it really comes down to is, in base form, the edge is going to Naruto simply because I think Naruto will outlast Aang, not only because Aang's going to be fighting outnumbered with the clones, but the Rasengan is such a powerful move in different states. And the way that Naruto can spam them, he can spam them with other clones. He can have 10 of them going off at once. He can blindside, get behind them, and things like that. But I think stamina-wise, Naruto can go longer because of the chakra reserves he has when compared to Aang. So base form, Naruto takes the cake. Now, let's go Sage Mode and Avatar State. Now, Sage Mode for Naruto, his strength gets buffed, mountain level strikes, and he's able to summon the frogs and all that good stuff. Lightning fast reaction time, nature sensory perception. So he uses nature chakra around him, which puts him at an advantage for sensory things. His durability also goes up, and his Rasengan and Rasen Shuriken obviously become more powerful because he's in Sage Mode. Aang's Avatar State, city to mountain level bending. So we're talking continental earthquakes. We're talking about tsunamis that can level an entire coast of a country, and different massive firestorms. He could probably cause volcanic eruptions, things like that. He's very fast. His speed gets a increase. At this point, he's able to fly, and more like traditional flying than using that air ball that he's usually using. And the Avatar State actually has a healing factor, so he's able to heal himself significantly faster than in his base form. So you add in a significant healing factor when you get into the Avatar State. Not only that, he's able to withstand large-scale destruction because not only do you have a healing factor being applied, but you also have a boost in his overall durability. So with that being said, the full mastery of all 4 elements, being able to use them all 4 at once at massive scales, he can create a giant destructive fire attack that can level an entire city while at the same time creating a coastal earthquake at the exact same time. So, and when it comes to Sage Mode and Avatar State, Aang's gonna get the edge in a fight between Sage Mode versus the Avatar State. So if Naruto stays base form and Aang goes Avatar Mode, Naruto is taking the L. Even if Naruto's in Sage Mode versus the Avatar State, just the scale of the destruction that Aang is able to conjure up all at the same time between 4 different forms of nature, I think it's too much for Sage Mode. Now, what we are going to get into is the Nine Tails Demon Fox Naruto versus the Avatar State. And as you guys can probably guess, this is not going to go too well for Aang, but let's just go through the notes regardless. Strength, multi-mountain to continental level strikes. This is for Naruto with the nine-tailed cloak. Hypersonic speed to lightning fast. Battle reacts faster than sight. Durability. This is when Naruto gets the healing factor, kind of similar to how Aang got in the Avatar state. He gets a massive healing factor, and I think the buff to his durability is significantly higher than Aang's buff through the Avatar state. When Naruto has that cloak around him, the amount he could take on an attack that could level a mountain, and he might not even feel it. That's how big of a buff he gets in his durability. And in agility, again, he's create these nine-tailed beast bomb blasts, which are nuclear level blast attacks. Like, one of them can completely level a city, and he can rapid fire them things, which is just crazy. Insane chakra reserve. Again, the healing factor, which is the healing factor is way higher than Aang's healing factor for sure. Again, Aang in his Avatar state, mountain level bending, quick but not lightning tier. The spirit self-healing, but again, that self-healing is not at the level of Naruto's regen. And of course, we have the spiritual elemental large-scale control of nature. Now, when we talk about who's winning that, Naruto in the Nine Tails cloak mode is taking the dub 10 times out of 10 on that one. 100%. Hit with Koruma's chakra, that's the name of the nine-tailed demon fox. With his chakra, Naruto is too fast, too durable, and just way too destructive for Aang to handle. Because at the end of the day, Aang is just controlling rocks, air, water, air, which on continental scales is very, very dangerous. But a tail beast bomb is cutting. If Aang puts up a mountain-sized wall to protect him, tail beast bomb's going straight through that thing. There's no amount of water you're gonna be able to conjure up to stop a Russian shuriken from slicing straight through that and getting to you. And with that move, it doesn't have to hit because it will expand into a destructive wind force. It's just too much, too large of a scale for Aang to handle. So Naruto's taking it there because the nine-tailed beast bombs just will outclass Aang's bending. But that's how I break it down. So in general, Naruto's gonna take the cake. The only way Aang is winning is if Naruto refuses to go. If Aang gets in let's assume Aang goes Avatar state at some point. The only way Aang wins is if Naruto refuses to use his nine-tailed demon fox power, and in certain situations in Sage mode. What I'll say in base form, Naruto's winning that 9. I was gonna go 10 times out of 10. In base form, Naruto wins 9 times out of 10. I do think Aang is adaptable and clever enough. I think he can squeak one out, maybe even 2 out of 10. But I think for sure he can squeak one win out of 10 because he is clever. He's good. He's got good combat martial arts, and having all 4 bending available to him, I think he can get creative to get Naruto to sleep up once. So I think base form, Naruto wins that 9 times out of 10. And Sage mode versus Avatar mode, I think Aang wins 6 times out of 10. The 4 times out of 10 I don't know if I want to have it to where Aang summons the frogs. Because Aang summons it, or if Naruto summons the frogs. If Naruto summons the frogs, it's a different battle. Because you got these giant frogs that Aang will also have to fight. So I don't want to go that far in Naruto's favor. But I do think 4 times out of 10, Naruto's combat experience and the usage of the shadow clones is extremely creative. Even at Kid Naruto, the last scene where he fights Sasuke, the way he uses those clones is different than we had seen the entire show. He gets very creative with them. So I do think Aang is a 6 out of 10, maybe 7 out of 10 in Avatar mode versus Sage mode Naruto. But I do think the creativeness that Naruto can be with his shadow clones, he can get, let's say 4 out of 10. And then in the Nine-Tailed Cloak versus Avatar state, 10 out of 10 Naruto wins. So Naruto is winning in 2 out of 3 situations. And in one of them, he's still winning 4 out of 10. So overall, Naruto is going to beat Aang in a head-to-head matchup. There are certain specific situations where Aang could win if Naruto doesn't go Nine-Tailed Demon Fox mode against Aang in Avatar state. But even then, I still think he has a chance out of 10 to get a handful of them, 4 or 5. But, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you guys think. Who do you think would win? And what situation do you see it happening? Also, if you want to leave a comment to suggest some verses for me to do, leave those in the comment, and I will put them down on my Google Sheet, and I'll get to them when I can get to them. But I'd also appreciate that, and that would automatically enter you to the subscriber giveaway. So leave the comment for that for sure, and make sure you guys subscribe. But I will catch you guys next time on Multiverse Matchups.